Hello everybody and welcome to another Cigar Advisor Cigar Review panel, Cigar Review. I'm Gary Korb, Executive Editor for CigarAdvisor.com, and today we're going to be reviewing the new Romeo y Julieta Estelí-Robusto. Yes, this is an all Nicaraguan blend with a nice Estelí recipe. So, does it live up to all the other fine Romeo and Julieta cigars? Well, let's find out now as we go to our lovely and talented cigar review panelists. He's so casual, he buys his dress shirts at the Army-Navy store. It's Jared Gulick. He's the world's leading expert on male toxicity. It's Tommy Z-Man, everybody. And he's a man who brings happiness whenever he goes, Mr. John Pulo.
Whenever he goes?
Whenever he goes.
All right, so let's get started and let's get the stats on this puro. A puro means all of the leaves in the cigar come from the same country. In this case, it's Nicaragua. And as I mentioned, this Romeo Estelí is made exclusively for Famous Smoke Shop as part of the company's Estelí project. And so far, they've all been very consistent in quality, and they're selling pretty well too. So basically, this is made in Nicaragua. The dimensions are 5x50 Robusto. The wrapper is a Nicaraguan Habano. The binder and filler are Nicaraguan, and they didn't give me any specifics on the leaves, but I assume there's a lot that's been grown in Estelí. I don't know if it's all Estelí. Do you know if it's all Estelí?
I could hazard a
Put
guess,
you on
but
the
that
spot.
wouldn't be fair.
All right, I'm sure that it's a mix. And then it's presented in boxes of 20 cigars, and you can get them in 5-packs as well. The only size you can buy in singles right now is the Robusto. And Tommy, what do you think a box of these goes for?
I don't know, Gary. I couldn't even begin to guess.
Really? Well, would you believe that at Famous Smoke Shop, where you can only buy these cigars, $92.99 a box.
Under $100.
Under $100.
Oh, okay, that's
And a
that's
box
surprising.
of how many?
A box of 20.
Probably would have guessed about 125
Yeah, that would be about right. That's probably
for
like
a
the list
for
price.
a Romeo. Yeah.
Yeah, that's around the list price for it.
All right. So a Romeo for under $5.
Yeah, and you can buy this one at
Not
Famous.
that actual one.
Not this one.
With the one you're smoking?
Not this one.
Who the
This
hell
one.
wants
This one's
to buy a
about-
used
this one's
cigar,
worth now
Gary?
about 10 cents, but but you can buy it for about $6 and
Gary's
change
weird.
at Famous Smoke Shop. FamousSmoke.com, right?
Smoke.com.
Famous-smoke.com.
That's
I want
right.
to make sure of that. Let's talk about the construction. Tommy, we'll go down to you and give us a little bit about how the cigar's built.
I think it's pretty solid. Solid feeling cigar right off the bat, half an inch in. It's a nice, very firm white ash, probably because of that Nicaraguan soil, magnesium in the soil. Like I said, very firm. Nice and great draw. I mean, a mountain of smoke.
Yeah,
coming
I'm getting a really nice draw too.
You know, I would be bold enough to say that this actually looks damn near Maduro, even though we know it's not.
It does look like a Maduro.
So to the
It's
casual,
like a reddish brown.
To the casual eye, especially when you hit it under these lights, you notice it picks up this nice reddish.
It does. I noticed
Tint.
that too. When I opened the box, it has that nice reddish.
So it's more
brick
rosado
hue,
than
you
it
know.
is anything else. I mean, you know, Maduro is more of a state of mind than it is an actual anything else. So
There we go.
it's not Maduro, but could easily
No,
be mistaken
but-
for one. But I think what gives it away is not all Maduros are spicy or
That's
heavy,
right.
and this one starts out of the gate spicy and
Oh, yeah.
heavy.
Really? Let me see.
Looks like milk chocolate. Milk chocolate.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice dark wrapper.
It might have been, obviously it was like, I don't call it a sun grown, but it's gotten a lot, it's got a lot of
yeah.
sun.
Oh.
How about the pre-light flavor? I got a kind of a nice sweetness in the cold draw. What about you, John?
Delicious. Actually, what's nice too is a lot of the pre-light flavors, it delivers as promised into the first couple of puffs. Kind of a leathery. That sweetness to me was kind of like a raisinish.
Yeah.
Like it tastes, that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
dried sweetness of raisin, and that sweetness is on your lips too. It kind of leaves it trails behind, and then it's after that pre-light, and you fire it up. All those flavors are actually there, which doesn't always happen. But add to that a big old helping of spice, and that's where this thing takes off.
Oh yeah, it's super front loaded.
So the initial flavors you would say are, I mean, I'm getting a lot of spicy pepper, from it right now.
Well, right off the bat, I got a blast of cocoa and a blast of raisins, and that's what I got the raisins too. But John and I were talking about an hour before shooting this. I said, "Did you get like a lot of flavor up front. And when all four of us talked about it, yeah, we agreed that this is extremely front-loaded with flavor. So from what we know, Gary, what Jose Blanco told us, it's the way the leaves are basically pointed towards the front of the cigar when it's rolled. And I'm telling you, the first inch into this is like bang, lots of spice. But I did get the raisins, but I got cocoa too.
Okay, yeah. Everyone's ash looks really nice. Jared, we talk a little about the burn and the ash quality. Of
Yeah, I mean,
the cigar?
it's a very thin burn line. It's got a nice coin stack to its ash. Very solid. You know, holds up to. It's not falling off easily at all. I also think, you know, as far as just to add on a little bit to construction, it's very hard to detect any type of seams on that.
Yeah.
I can't see anything on there. And then it has that Cuban style triple cap,
Yep.
which I like. And it's just very, very well made. Very well made.
Okay. Well, let's get down to the aroma. Got a lot of smoke going on here. Is anybody picking up anything off the? I thought it was kind of sweet, actually.
Smells like smoke.
Cocoa and grains.
It does smell like smoke.
Cocoa and grains is the aroma that I get.
Grains?
I don't know about
Yeah,
grains,
just
but
kinda
yeah,
like
I might buy into the cocoa part of it.
Maybe like wheat.
But the grains?
Yeah, it's just the aroma I'm getting.
Like a dry cereal kind of grain type of thing.
Almost
Hasn't-
like
has-
Cheerios or something?
It hasn't unfolded for me to that degree as of yet. I'm still kind of hung up on the flavor. There's a little bit of that caramel sweetness that's kind of unfolding. It's getting really bold.
Yeah.
I mean, for a first cigar of the day.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is not a first cigar of the day.
This
This
is
will
this has
make-
got a very bold mouthfeel. It's a very heady smoke that's coming out. So that, I'm more focused on flavor right now than I am on aroma, because aroma for me is taking a total backseat.
Okay. Let's talk about the flavors that we're getting so far. John, I think, is there a misconception about Nicaraguan tobacco or?
Well,
Estelí.
everybody talks about Nicaraguan cigars, that Nicaraguan cigar is strong. I think that's pretty much the opinion that people form in their mind. That's its thing. But, just like tobacco as a whole, it's got nuances depending on what part of Nicaragua it's grown. So, it's not necessarily true that just because it's, we have had plenty of Nicaraguan cigars that have been very velvety. They've been more on the mellow side.
That's true.
But this one, and this really is what ties together the whole Estelí part of this, right? So you have Estelí, which is up in the northern part of the country, up in the mountains. And those mountains were formed by volcanic activity. And you had mentioned that the dark volcanic soil. And that's what really, that dark, rich soil is what lends so much flavor and healthy growing environment for the
Now,
plants.
is that Ometepe?
Ometepe is in the south. That's the island.
That is a
Nicaragua.
volcanic island.
But that's a volcanic island. But that imparts a different type of flavor. A lot of people see Ometepe as more of an earthy type of tobacco. When you get up into Estelí, you combine the altitude up in the mountains along with that volcanic soil that you were talking about, and it provides a leaf that carries a significant spice. And that's what we're seeing here. So it's a thicker leaf, evidenced by the Habano that's on here. It's a thick, oily leaf, right?
Yeah, they tend to be strong anyway.
Right, so strong and spicy is pretty much Estelí's signature, especially their Ligero. And I think there's a good chunk of that in here.
Yeah, I definitely would bet
You
on
can
that.
definitely tell that John majored in geography and science
And botany.
and botany. It's that $2 word, botany. So very good, John.
Has anybody retrohaled this thing yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I think everyone seems to agree.
Now, you said yikes, and I agree with you. I think it's very feisty, but I think it's also got a smoothness to it.
It's a little more velvety once you get past the first
Right.
maybe half inch, but the immediate sensation you get is something similar up in your nose, kind of like wasabi.
Yeah,
Wasabi
I'm getting that.
And actually, you know what, you talked about grains, that's kind of where I'm getting
Yeah.
some of that. It's actually more like crackers or like a bready, toasty kind of sensation, but like almost not quite stinging, but that sharp wasabi type of oomph. That's what's in my retrohale.
To me, it's like green peppers.
Okay.
Like green peppers.
You know,
Okay.
to just a real quick touch on this.
Sure.
For those who are really more beginners or newer to cigar smoking, they wonder, how do you taste that stuff? Is that really in the cigar? Did they roll it in the cigar? It's just the way the different tobaccos are blended, aged, produce these flavors that appear, and I guess that's the best way of saying it, though.
Well, why don't we go down the line here, starting with you, Tom? What are you finding in terms of the base flavors of the cigar? Just the base flavors. Doesn't
Well,
have
like
to be
I said,
everything.
I got cocoa right off the bat, but
Okay.
that kind of dissipated, and I got raisins, pretty heavy, and I get my little black licorice that I get with a lot of cigars, but I don't think this is a complex cigar.
Okay.
And there's a few nice notes in here, and it is nice balance, but it's not super complex, meaning I get, on the few that I smoked beforehand, the same kind of flavor profile almost all the way through, but that's not a bad thing. People think that in a review of a cigar's not complex and there's just a few flavors and you taste the same flavors, that's saying it's not a bad thing. If you like the flavors, it's a good thing. It's just not an overly complex cigar. I don't think so.
So what are the flavors that you're sensing?
But like I said, I got cocoa, but that kind of went away. But I got raisin, I get some licorice, but you know what? I know as I smoke down more, earthy, almost like black coffee.
It's very earthy.
Or earthy like black coffee, and that's what that spiciness is, like that earthy black coffee spicy, that it kind of turns into around a third the way in, and then I kind of get that the rest of the way.
All right, Jared, how about you?
I'm getting a little bit different than what he's getting. I do agree with you on the earthiness. I'm definitely getting earthiness. But I'm also, like I said earlier, same with the retro, but also on the base flavors, I'm getting green pepper. But I'm also getting a hop-like bitterness. This is the entire time, every sample, I was like, this is the craft beer of cigars. Like, this is the IPA of cigars for me.
Interesting.
It's got this hop appeal to it that I think would lend itself very well to pairing with like an IPA.
Okay.
If that's your speed, this might be a great cigar for an IPA.
It seems to me it's right about here. This is probably the half, 3/4 inch mark. This is really when the initial front loading starts to kind of settle into place, and all the flavors start to unfold, and really it materializes. The base flavors that I got were pepper, earth, leather, and raisin. And
Yeah,
that's-
leather too, definitely
yeah,
leathery.
and that sweetness still lingers on the lips a little bit as far as the finish goes.
Right. I got, and again, earthiness, a lot of earth. The pepper is definitely here. I got some cedar. I got some, like the dark woody kind of a note, and just like these faint notes of sweet tobacco that kind of run under, just under the surface there. But so I'd say we would say, I guess the balance. What would you say the balance, Tommy? Is well balanced.
Well, I think it is balanced, but it's kind of weird. It's like what you were saying before we shot, that it kind of starts off strong, kind of dips down, and then kind of comes back. So I'm not sure how to describe that balance-wise, but that's what it does. And John, you would say it does the same thing.
Yeah, it's you know what it is. It's not a roller coaster. To Tommy's point about the complexity. So if you measure it on intensity, right, it starts off up here, and then once you start getting past an inch, it does one of these.
Yeah, and I just got that.
And you're going to get to that. And then when you start, a little bit of a giveaway towards the end, just because we've smoked our fair share of these, as you get closer to where my fingers are on this, it starts to come up and do this again. And that's kind of where it finishes. So you got two pretty sizable peaks separated by not really a deep valley. It's not like it goes flavorless or anything, but it really settles down.
Yeah, I
And
just got that. It
that's
just
the
sort of
middle
went
your
like,
smoke. Yeah.
like.
Now you wonder how the bigger. Now, what are the sizes of this?
Yeah, I know you have a Toro and a Churchill.
So I'm wondering,
least three.
we
I think
didn't
it's
smoke a
three.
Churchill. How is that balance of flavor, John? That the dip. How is that going to be in a Churchill? I don't know.
I suppose we're going to have to try and find out.
Yeah, I know, and that's because this is a shorter cigar. Maybe that it's hard to tell.
I think it would mellow out more. I think it would mellow out more, because especially to your point, you were talking about how they're actually rolling the leaves, and Jose Blanco, when he was talking about putting the tips of the leaves, forward, that gives it a flavor forward and a strength forward type of profile. So as you're getting closer to the base of that leaf on a Churchill, it's going to mellow out because it's closer to the stalk.
Yeah, and Gary, I am getting that cedar that you got right
You are,
now,
okay.
Almost about the half to 2/3 mark. I'm really getting a lot of cedar, that I didn't notice before on the other ones, and I don't know why.
But this is just really, really creamy. It's a nice volume of smoke too. which I
Look
like.
at it pouring off.
Yeah,
these
it's just
cigars.
really.
Yeah, it's well made.
It's got really good smoke going on there. John, who's this cigar for?
This is, well, two things about this Romeo. First of all, you would never really think to describe a Romeo as like, boy, that's a lot of cigar. I don't know if I can really handle this first thing in the morning. you don't, it really is not a conversation people really have, right?
Yeah.
So, knowing what we know about Estelí and the things we were talking about, and Tommy was talking about the soil, and we were talking about the terroir, basically, for the wine nuts. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to tobacco. This is a cigar that I would say it certainly earns its Estelí moniker, given all that big, round, full flavor, right? But if you like a Nicaraguan cigar, puro or not, but it's going to be one that you're going to feel in your gut as you sit there. You want to sit back with a meaty smoke, right? That you're going to feel here. That's who this is.
Well,
for.
Jose Oliva used to tell me, a good full flavored cigar, or full bodied cigar for that matter, you feel in your gut.
Yes.
You feel in your gut, not make you nauseous, but just just feel that nice, kind of strength down there. So you're getting that. How about you, Jared? Who's this for?
I definitely think it's for more experienced palates. This is the type of cigar that, if you're relatively new and you try this out, this is probably going to scare you off just a little bit. So if you're looking for something, to John's point, in the Romeo portfolio that's got a little bit more attitude, this might be the one for you. And I keep going back to it. Like I said, I think that this would be great for the craft beer crowd. Personally, are you guys getting bitterness like I am?
No.
Like it's not a bad bitterness. When I'm saying bitterness, like I said, it's kind of like that hops, but it's not for everybody. It's for some people. But to me, I'm getting that kind of like hop-like appeal. So
No, bitterness is not bad. Like if you get a bitter dark chocolate, that's a
right,
good.
exactly.
That's a good
There are
thing.
good and bad bitters, and this isn't the bad type of bitter. So
No, it's the bitterness I'm sensing is more of a bite, and it's more of a peppered bite than it is a bitterness of anything else.
How about you, Tom? Who's it for?
I think leprechauns, Electrolux salesman. That's who I'd probably narrow this.
Electrolux.
Well, the Road Warriors, man. You gotta give them something to.
No, I think leprechauns are going to love this.
you love your
cigar
Lucky
because
Charms.
It's short.
Magically delicious.
I think it's for a guy that likes, or a girl. And as far as I know, there's two genders, but we can leave that alone for now. But I think that if you like bold flavor, especially at the start, kind of intense in your face, we said mellows out a little bit, comes back. But if you like a straightforward, put smoke in my cigar. You put smoke in here.
Got him again.
Damn. No, if you like straightforward flavor, I think that this cigar is for you. Like I said, not overly complex, but straightforward. And if you like that kind of cigar that's got straightforward flavors all the way through, I think this is for you.
Yeah, I would say it's not for the squeamish. I mean, it is definitely for a more experienced smoker.
And leprechauns are not squeamish at all.
No, they're not.
No, they are tough little
No,
bastards.
they are.
You saw the movie Leprechaun, remember? I Need Me Gold?
One kicked my butt a few years ago.
Really?
There it is.
But anyway, I just think it's a really good, well balanced cigar. And I was getting a lot. Pardon me. I was getting a lot of creaminess from it, which was kind of like masking some of the other flavors. And now the pepper just came back. It hit me. But so that might be some level of complexity. And that the pepper kind of comes and goes, but overall it's a good, solid, full body cigar.
But as we're hitting the halfway point almost, guys, aren't you getting that earthiness?
Oh yeah, it's there all the time.
I think the
that's been there all the
leather really is there, very leathery, but
Yes.
very earthy and spicy and.
Right. It's almost that it seems to me that when the sweetness goes away, the pepper comes back.
Yeah.
When the pepper goes away, the sweetness comes
Yeah.
back. So there's really your complexity.
Okay.
Otherwise, those base flavors
Right.
that you had mentioned,
They're pretty
the
consistent.
earth, the leather, and for me the pepper, those are straight on consistent throughout the
Right,
board.
I'm going to
across
start
the
with
board.
Jared on what they would pair it with, because he alluded to beer.
Yeah, it's craft beer IPAs, and they're not really my type of thing, but I could tell just having had my fair share of them and trying them out over the years. If you like that kind of thing, I think this would lend very well to it. But what do you think this would pair well with?
I think I'm going to pick a Knob Creek bourbon, and I know I'm going for a specific taste, but Knob Creek is very sweet on the palate, on the back of the tongue, and I think a sweetness would kind of counterbalance this earthiness
I agree
very,
with you.
very, very nicely.
I
And
agree with
I
you,
think
yeah.
you would get a whole lot going on your taste buds.
Yeah, I was going to say bourbon too. How about you, John?
Not even be bold enough to try something a little more delicate like an Irish whiskey.
Ooh. The leprechauns like that.
Yes, they do. You know, there's a running theme here, guys.
I guess so.
You can always
Yeah.
go with an orange soda.
Yeah. Well, that's really sweet. But I would also go with because I like rum, like a nice sweeter rum, like maybe a Zaya or even a really good long aged Bacardi or something like that. But yeah, I agree with Tommy in that. I would probably want something a little sweeter to counterbalance.
Yep.
the pepper. But it's going great with my coffee, and I think all cigars go good with coffee. So
Yeah, I do too.
So-
This would go good with coffee, no doubt about it.
all right, let's wrap it up. Give us a summary, Tommy, of the cigar.
It bangs you pretty hard when it starts. I don't mean strong bangs you hard when it starts, just really full flavored. But definitely at the halfway point, the strength is picking up for me. And the strength, like we said, is that earthiness and that spiciness. But as we know, as we get down a little further, it is going to get a little sweeter again.
Okay, Jared.
To Gary's point, not for the faint of heart, but I think that we'll all agree that there's enough flavor here, there's enough on the table offered to warrant this as worthy of a try and worthy for the humidor.
I would say if this smoke didn't knock you over at the beginning, it's going to come back for a second try.
Yes.
Especially as we get a little bit further here. Very obvious flavors, so it's not like you're going to, go hunting for them. It's very upfront with its flavors, very obvious with its flavors. But the body, big, fat, full, round. It's just a really meaty smoke, and I don't think that's something you'd necessarily expect from Romeo.
To wrap things up, the Romeo and Julieta Esteli from FamousSmokeShop.com. It's only available at famous-smoke.com. And we want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget to watch Cigar Advisor every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, our Facebook Live show, which is hosted by Tommy. And you can find us also on Facebook. We have Facebook pages, obviously. And then we're on Instagram and Twitter. And are we anywhere else?
LinkedIn, apparently.
LinkedIn? We're on LinkedIn too. So look
And
for our bios.
CigarAdvisor.com and our YouTube videos.
Maybe
Exactly.
Friendster.
Yeah, we're everywhere. So YouTube, you got it. So anyway, like I said, thanks guys. I think we got a pretty good idea of what this cigar is all about. And thanks for watching, and happy smokes.